are going to be going over our basic root retouch application. It's so important that everyone that works here or anybody who's training under me learn this very basic application method, only because this is fundamentally the platform from which we teach. I often work in quadrants, and this is going to help us progress onto more complicated color applications. So from here on, I just want you to practice applying in this manner. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and cover my guest all the way. I always want to make sure the drape is behind the chair and our beautiful guest armies are inside, because I don't want to buy clients' clothes. So regardless of the natural part, I always part in the center, divide at the apex, and we are pulling 4 quadrants. So quadrant 1 is always going to be front right. So we're talking like clockwise if we're looking at a clock, right? Then we're going to move to quadrant 2, which is behind the right ear, from the apex all the way down to the nape. This is quadrant 2. And then quadrant 3 is behind the left ear. And then quadrant 4 is from the left ear forward to the hairline, okay? So when we're applying a basic root retouch, we need a few tools. I prefer the Framar brushes, tint brushes. They're a soft bristle brush, and they give great coverage. They're nice and wide. If I'm working on detailed work around here, hairline, ear, face, I'll choose a smaller tint brush, the smaller Framar tint brush. And then I also have a color comb. This is like your basic cutting comb, but it's also my favorite to break line of demarcation. An extra towel, because I want to keep my hands clean, or I can use that shoulder to shoulder with 2 butterfly clips. If I decide to do a full color application, I just lay the hair onto the towel just like that. What I want to talk about is tint load or dye load. Tint load is a better tint load on the brush. Okay, this is a very small triangle or pyramid of color. We always want to be in control of how much color is on our tint brush. We don't need a lot. Too much will keep us sloppy. I work with a white drape because I like to see how clean my applications are, right? And this is a great way for you to self-train, hold yourself accountable to a clean color application as well. I'm going to switch this out. Notice how I place the clips on my client. Her peripheral, or I'm sorry, her profile, her silhouette is all intact. She has her dignity. She doesn't have these crazy Zulu knots. She doesn't look like a fool. She can sit here semi-comfortable and not feel like she looks like a clown. Okay, so we don't do Zulu knots here. It's just not, the presentation is poor. And one of the reasons that we apply it in this manner, and I'll show you how we work our way forward, is to keep client dignity and presentation intact at all times. So tint load, all right? There are several ways to now apply color. Oh, this is a good one right here. So very, very small amount of tint, okay? It's tiny. So there's 3 different brush strokes that I want you to learn, okay? We have a tap, where this is like gonna be more close to what I'm doing with her. She's a 3-week to 4-week regrowth, okay? So this is a tap. That's 4 weeks of regrowth. We also have the dip, which has like a bouncing motion. And mind you, if my tint load is thicker on the corners, you can see how it drags farther, right? So we want to try to get an even tint load on the tint brush. So we have a drag, a tap, a dip, I'm sorry, and then a drag. A drag is going to be more like 8 to 10, 12-week regrowth. So you can see the difference there. A tap, a dip has the bounce, and then a drag, right? So that's it right there. That's what we're looking for. We're going to be using more of a tapping motion on her. We want to prevent overlap of color. That's really why we are managing our tint load and focusing on our brush application. So actually she has quite a bit of gray down here. I'm going to drag that down a little bit further. But it looks like she might have some progressive color from her previous stylist overlapping. So you see how it's lighter here and it gets darker here? That's progressive color. That's because we've been overlapping color. Not we, but previous stylist has been overlapping color. So I'm going to be very careful to start blending that line of demarcation, but notice I'm starting in quadrant 2 in the back. You can see 3, and I'm just taking horizontal sections. See how I use my pinky to pull those flyaways down just like that? I have tons of control, even with those baby hairs down there. Okay. Horizontal sections, nice and controlled. This application should take you 15 minutes total. Total, okay? That is efficiency right there, and you're gonna be able to time that in with your the rest of your services, right? So using the processing time to our advantage. We can always use a 10-minute color. I prefer not to. I find that 10-minute color becomes more progressive over time, meaning if you leave it too long, it will over oxidize. It does get darker, right? But I find myself more often than not just using a regular 35-minute controlled processing time. And I'll show you where this tint brush, or I'm sorry, this color comb comes in. So you see how she's ribboning and folding here? So if I were just to apply color like that, we're going to get a heavy saturation where the hair is folded, and it's going to have an uneven deposition, right? So we're going to take our color comb here, which is an old school cutting comb, state board cutting comb, but I call them color combs because I don't cut with these. And we're just grooming the section, making sure our partings are nice and clean and even. No holidays and no oversaturation of progressive color, right? Yeah, frequent flyers. I love that. No frequent flyers. Thank you so much. I'm going to start pitching my angle to be more horizontal because I started at like more of a 45 right there. You can see that popping motion that I'm doing, right? That's to prevent catching too much drag and overlapping that color. So we're going to move our way up the head. If I had an assistant, the assistant would be holding this with their right hand and their color comb with the left hand, and they would be grooming each section as I pull. You want to try? Yeah, go ahead and stand right there. So I'm going to slice a section. You're going to go ahead and groom. Perfect. Beautiful. And I am looking for flyaways. So you want to make sure that you're keeping nice and control. So watch this comb. I'm not going in like this. I'm going in like this at a 45. This is going to create more tension. Do you see that tension right there? Yep.
On the wrong side too. On the barber side.
Because you're a barber, that's why.
Are you a barber?
Both, yeah. Yeah, I used to have a big select clientele of both men and women.
Yeah, he worked at Mita Soul's original salon. Actually, him and I went to school together.
Yeah, we did.
15 years ago. He
Have him do dad's hair.
he could do Dad's hair.
Totally do it.
He could do Dad's hair, but Dad's got to pay him. I can't have him do it for free.
I know.
Um,
That's all right. Because you're running that low on time, so.
yeah, that'll give me an opportunity to do other things. So at a 45, there we go. So do you see how my sections are so thin that I can see through them? And you want to not at an angle, literally straight up at a 90 from the ground. Yep. And this is going to help the client keep their head up nice and tight and erect as well, instead of pulling them at a different angle.
Yes, I sit up for you.
Here's a secret though. The better your client's posture, the better your posture will be, and the less your back will hurt at the end of the day. And that's honest to God truth, because the more we gravitate towards them leaning towards their phone, that's really putting a lot of strain on our lower back, and that's like we're not utilizing our core enough. And it's not about when they're sitting here in the chair for 3 hours, but we're doing hair for 10. Like, we have to keep some type of discipline with the way that our clients are angled. I have no issue with my clients looking at their phones, but I'm constantly doing this. I'll just gently tap their chin or their forehead, and I'll just say, I'm just going to have you keep your head up. I'm just going to have you keep your head up. And I'll do that as many times as I need without getting frustrated with being totally patient, you know. I'll do it 30 times during a service if I need to, because they don't know. You know what I mean? Unless somebody, yeah, and they're on their phone. They're allowed to be on their phone, you know. That's their prerogative.
Looking down, no, I see
Yep.
what you're saying.
Yeah, but looking down, or if they're leaning too far, these chairs are very wide. if they lean too far to the left or too far to the right. Like that adjusts.
I need adjustments. Sorry.
Thinking
Yeah.
about it.
Well, my back started to hurt a little bit, and I realized it was something wrong.
Yeah, that changes our positioning too, which ultimately forces us to engage our core more, you know, those kind of things. So
Alright, you got the rest of that, or you want me to keep holding?
I can hold it.
Alright.
I might want a smaller tint brush here in front of the
You go
camera.
grab it.
Yep. Go ahead. Same the frame are, but half the size.
So how much do you think it's going to cost that?
He'll charge whatever I tell him to charge. What does that Dad normally pay?
I don't know, $25?
No. No. He would probably charge, if I don't charge him booth rent, he might do it for $35. But he's a great barber, so.
And is he training for cosmetology then?
No, he's already a licensed cosmetologist. He's been a cosmetologist for 15 years. He's been a barber for like 8 years.
Oh.
He took a break to, or maybe he's been a barber for like 3 years. I don't know, I can't remember. But he took a break to go do a different vocation for a minute, and then he just decided he didn't want to do that. He wants to do hair. So he's back here training, getting refreshers, doing my intern program.
Was he here before?
No.
Oh.
These look, I don't see a frame on them. This one's good.
Nope. Keep looking. They're half the size. Frame are. They look just like this.
Yeah, I didn't see your salon busy today.
Huh?
I'm glad to see the salon is busy today.
Oh yeah, it's not actually. This isn't that busy. We've been really busy lately.
Good.
This is kind of slow. Hi, welcome. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Who are you here to see?
Mia.
Nice.
What's his name again?
The one who's training with me?
Yeah,
Edward.
Edward. He's handsome.
Is he? I don't think
his
he's.
beard. I like his beard. It's very well groomed.
Well, he's a grooming expert.
Yeah, well, that's true.
I was just saying how you're a grooming expert.
I'm telling Lauren, I like the way your beard is trimmed.
Oh, thank you.
It looks nice.
Thank you.
I have to admit something, Edward. She goes, he's really handsome. And I was like, no, I don't think so. I meant it in like, I'm not attracted to you kind of way. I'm sorry. You are handsome.
Well, I can say he's handsome. He's young.
Yes.
I'm not
I'm like,
attracted.
also like, no, I'm not going there because I'm not a threat to his wife and we're not even starting any of that. Okay. So no, I'm not attracted to him. But
Yeah.
yes, you're very handsome, Edward. Okay.
You can say he's handsome.
Yes, you're handsome.
He is
Sorry. I just have strong boundaries. You know what I mean?
Hilarious.
I'm not going to be hitting on my coworkers. That's very weird. No, I'm good. We're good here.
I don't even think you had to go through all that explanation.
I know, but
think
I
it's
just
too much
realized.
information.
Well, I just realized that I'm YouTube living, and I'm like, if one day Edward goes back and he's gonna watch this video, and he's gonna be like, "That chick told me I was ugly." No, no, that's not the intent here. My intent was to keep my side of the street clean. That's all I was trying to say. Okay. Now I look like an idiot, but I have to say it because it's out in the it's on the internet. It's forever. It's on the internet. It's web. Yeah. And you're not ugly. Trust me.
I forgot that it was.
So how do I say this the right way?
Yes. Now I have to get take my foot out of my mouth.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Okay, so we're gonna do
There you go.
a little bit different here.
Okay. Back
Notice
to
how I
front.
used the smaller tint brush for the smaller portions when the sectioning got smaller, right? So here we are. I'm going to be doing, wait 1 second, I'm going to show you what we're doing first.
Okay.
We're going to be doing a vertical placement on quadrants 1 and 4 because we're going to be able to then flat wrap the hair behind away from the framing of the face, and the client it's going to maintain client dignity. Here's the thing, she has such thick hair that I will probably, most of the time I'll do the whole section all at once, take a long slice, right? Actually, go ahead and grab it. I might be able to do it all at once with you. But if I don't have an assistant, then for sure I would have divided her at the temple here and done this section vertically first and then this section vertically. Okay, so I would split section 1 or quadrant 1 into two subsections. So, but I want her hair positioned straight. Yep, forward, just like that. Not too much tension. Let's make sure that we're not going to strain her neck. Perfect. That's okay. We're all learning here. But you can see how with all that hair, it's hard to control even just with you and your two hands, you know? Yeah. Which is why I'll often divide into subsections.
Mine's chin up, open wide.
I know. I just can't do teeth, so that's why I didn't become a dental hygienist. Remember, Mom?
Yeah.
It's just was.
Open wide. Keep on, stay open. That's
But
what
now
saying
I'm-
100 times a day. Chin up, stay open.
And you're you're just patient about it, right? You just you got it's part of the job.
I love that.
It's like that's not their job. They don't know. You know what I mean?
Well, it's easy to like kind of relax and fall
Yep.
into a,
Yep.
a space that they like.
Mm-hmm. So did we do the 20? We did the 10-30 combo? Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
30 and 30.
Yeah, this is kind of just an experiment color to see how well we can blend it. And then her and I talked about maybe adding in dimension in the future.
Frequent flyers.
Yes, yes, sir. So Full Effect is a great product to use if you're looking to capture flyaways. You can even use your hands and just pull that through the hair during a color application like this if you wanted to. Yeah. And that will help keep those hairs collapsed. Only because it has like a gritty texture to it, you know?
Dirties it up just enough.
It's pliable though, it has memory, so you push it somewhere and it stays, you know? I'm gonna use my tiny little tint brush here for this hairline. Okay. Always making sure we're keeping our client's skin clean. I have no greater pet peeve in my salon than walking by a client with a basic root retouch and there is just massacre of color all over their face. It drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. I will walk up to your, I do it all the time. I do it to veterans. I don't give a, who's the stylist. I will literally walk up and clean your client for you.
Clean.
Yes.
Have to. Then they touch it, it's on their clothes, and now you're buying clothes.
Yep, exactly. I'm not doing that.
Or their eye. You gotta keep them
Even
clean so
worse,
they don't even
right.
touch it. Yep.
So we are always being mindful of the hairline, but you can see how this approach keeps them so clean and under control. One of my biggest, another pet peeve, so dirty clients, and then the second thing is for stylists who come to me straight out of school, and they're like, well, my school taught me to apply to the hairline first. And I'm like, why? Why would we do that? And they're like, oh, because the school says that we need extra processing time for the hair in the front. If your hair color works according to manufacturer's instructions at 35 minutes, why would it not cover gray? Oh, because the color line doesn't work. That's why. That's why. Okay. I'm not playing those games. I'm not doing that. Yeah. Yeah, I'll do this side too if you want to hold that way. Go ahead and stand right there. We'll make sure we're not in the way here. Thank you, sir.
Edward, do you have any kids?
I do. I got a 6-year-old boy. His birthday yesterday.
Nice.
And then my daughter's 12. Going on like 18 already.
Oh, God.
It's scary.
I had one of those.
No.
Yeah, I did.
I was 3 years old. We have a home video of me in the bathtub at 3, and my dad's saying, "How old are you, Lolo?" 18.
Already at 3.
Everybody, I would tell everybody I was 18.
That's definitely like my daughter right now.
Okay, so you do not need to start at the hairline. You can start in the back and apply your color. Notice how I'm not overlapping. All of my color application is controlled, coming right up to that line of demarcation, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I didn't have an assistant, again, I would have subdivided this quadrant.
I'm shedding like a dog. I apologize.
I can see that you're shedding a little bit. We can talk about that. I have some solutions for you and we'll talk about why that's happening.
Yeah.
If it bothers you, I do have some solutions. So, anyways, it doesn't bother me at all.
It bothers me.
No. It's not concerning. I know your regular level of shedding, and this is not far from it.
Yeah.
So, but we'll talk about that. So, very delicately, I am applying the color up to and through that line of demarcation, keeping my tint brush evenly loaded, or my tint load even on my tint brush. I'm going to have her turn her head simply so I'm not leaning. We're going to turn you just like that for a minute, okay? Is that okay? Okay.
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Notice how I am going to be coming back to this temple. She has a deep temple hairline. Some clients do. Hers goes down pretty far on the base of her neck and down her temple, which that's when I go back in with that tiny tint brush or the half tint brush from Framar, and I will cover those. And then once she's completely covered, her roots are covered, I am going to grab her. I will probably put something on her hairline. I'm probably going to use a Sanex strip on her hairline to keep those grays down, because you can see they're very wiry and they want to stick straight up. I don't do that with every client, but with clients with a lot of wiry gray, we will do that just to keep them in submission, right? Which is cool because I like jujitsu, so we're going to keep them in a nice firm hold. Yeah, full guard. We're going to be in full guard here, so.
Rear naked choke?
Yeah, we will choke those grays, trust me.
Still need to come
Grab
boxing
that.
with you. I keep forgetting.
Thursday nights, dude.
Alright.
Last night I was there for 3 hours. I did the boxing conditioning, then I did the boxing skills and kickboxing skills and technique, and then I did jujitsu.
That's awesome.
And it's back to back to back, dude. It's so good.
Yeah, I need it.
So
Doing
there's
conditioning
that.
now.
Yeah, the conditioning's kind of essential, you know, and it's good because that conditioning is first, so it gets you nice and worn out, and then you can really train technique once you're like weak and sloppy, and that's when your muscle memory starts trying to kick in, you know. You have to force the muscle memory, and you're cognitive of it.
Am I okay?
You are just
Need me to
fine.
turn or anything?
Nope, I'll let you know. Okay, I'm gonna.
I like his shoes.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Notice those.
Oh, hers.
Oh, thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
I was gonna be like, Edward, this is the third time you've told
Oh,
me
no.
you like these shoes, dude. Like,
I did.
chill.
I gotta get my creepers again. Old school creepers.
Okay, so we are going to go ahead and grab a cap
Okay.
out of the back. Yes, bottom. They're under the color bar in an orange box. Okay. And I'm gonna keep working. I'm gonna show the Sanex strip really quickly here. Mind you, I'm gonna do my best to clean the hairline here. Make sure we have full saturation on those grays. I'm gonna take this guy right here, and I'm going to start down and slide up just a little bit. See how I'm starting away from the hairline, pushing it down and sliding it up in just a tad. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Start in front of the hairline, use my fingertips to slide up and in. Then these sections right here, I'm just going to hold my thumb, fold, and tuck behind the ear, just like that. Same thing on here. Oops, fold and tuck behind the ear. Okay. So for our long-haired clients, we can poke a small hole, just like this. Put her hand through. She doesn't necessarily need it. We're going to push this out of the way. I'm going to turn her. Watch your feet. Go ahead and step to your right. There you go. Keep going. I am going to, if she had longer hair, this would be necessary, but I'm just showing this for demonstrative purposes. Hand, pull through like a pony. Use that elastic band on top of the Sanex strip. I'm going to adjust her just a little bit. That elastic band on top of the Sanex strip is going to help keep that Sanex in place. You can see just like that. I'm going to make sure none of her hair is overlapping or touching the color. I'm going to gently pull her pony out. Make sure we're nice and rested. Okay, so here is position number one. We can just let her sit like this. She's fairly comfortable. She doesn't look crazy. She doesn't look like a fool, right? The other thing that we can do to preserve dignity, like if our guest wants to go outside and smoke a cigarette or take a phone call, or if they have a Zoom call, or if there's somebody here that they know, or if we just feel like they deserve a little bit of extra dignity, okay? And be careful, because when you do this, you're compressing the hair down into the hair color. So I'm going to go ahead and put your chin down for me. There we go. I'm going to create a little bandana. See that like nice little tuck that I did, pull? And then I'm just tucking this up from behind the ear, and she can sit forward just like this. Now she can FaceTime her kids. She can, you know what I mean? Like, this is a dignified way to sit and let your hair color process. I also like this because it keeps the color encapsulated, or no, I'm sorry, the heat encapsulated inside the towel, especially on cold days. I don't have to apply extra heat, but I'm going to let her rest for about 15 minutes. This isn't manufacturer's instructions, but I like to go through and just feather through that line of demarcation after about 20 minutes, and then we'll give her another 15 for processing, and she'll have full gray coverage. So that is our basic root retouch, starting quadrant 2 and 3, horizontal sections, working your way up, and then vertical sections, and 1 and 4, moving it away from the face. That's about it. Okay. Thank you. Rock on. Okay.
So you have any eyeglass cover?
Travis, I would love to do your hair. I don't know why. Let's see here. Yes, I'm taking new clients, but I'm also not single. So let's just keep that very clear. Who else? Only reason we have... I don't know what all this nonsense is. Questions. All right, you guys can find me on Instagram, Lauren Slays Hair. This was specifically a video that I'm using for in-house training, meaning I probably won't keep it accessible to public viewing. If you're interested in watching these videos over again, you can subscribe to my Instagram channel. I do publish them there for my subscribers, and I'm happy to answer questions as well. And rock on, love doing hair. You guys enjoy it. Be good. Be good hairstylists.